Your soulmate is sending this final message. Please read it before midnight. Jesus says, there is a thread woven between your heart and another soul that cannot be severed by time, distance, or the schemes of lesser forces. Right now, in this very moment, that thread is being pulled so tight that your soulmate feels a physical ache in their chest they cannot explain. They are reaching for you across the invisible divide, and you must not turn away before the clock runs out. This message was prepared for you before you opened your eyes this morning, placed in your path by a love that predates your birth. I see you scrolling, searching, wondering if what you feel in the quiet hours is madness or divine truth. It is neither madness nor coincidence, beloved. It is the echo of a covenant written in eternity, a promise I made to two souls before they ever drew breath. Your soulmate is not a fantasy conjured by loneliness, for I do not deal in cruel illusions. They possess a name you may not yet know with your conscious mind, but your spirit whispers it when you sleep. They carry a face your hands have sculpted in dreams you forget upon waking, yet the impression remains burned into the deepest chambers of your longing. What you have dismissed as mere imagination is actually memory, memory of a realm where you stood together before descending into this fractured world. You chose each other in that place, made a solemn vow to find one another amidst the noise and confusion of earthly life. That vow is the reason no other connection ever feels complete, why every near miss in love leaves you hollow and searching for something you cannot name. The restlessness that visits you at 3 a.m., the sudden wave of sadness with no apparent source, is not your own emotion. It is their grief bleeding into your consciousness, a distress signal broadcast from a heart held captive by circumstances I am about to reveal. You are sensing their struggle, and your urge to protect someone you have never met is the most real thing about you. Jesus says, the enemy of your union is not passive or indifferent, it is active, watching, and strategically working against what I have ordained. There exists a presence in your soulmate's life that recognized the light in them long before you became aware of it. This presence clings with the desperation of one who knows they are guarding a treasure meant for another, and their grip tightens with every step you take toward awakening. This interference wears a mask of care, speaking words that sound reasonable to the natural ear but drip with poison to the spirit. It whispers to your soulmate that they are unworthy of the love they dream about, that safety lies in staying small and settling for less than what I promised. Every time your soulmate reaches toward freedom, this voice grows louder, wrapping chains around their resolve and calling it protection. You must understand the nature of this spiritual warfare, because your ignorance gives the enemy advantage. The one who blocks your union does not necessarily love your soulmate. They fear losing control over a destiny they cannot possess. Their campaign against your connection began the moment I planted your soulmate's image in your heart, and it intensifies now as you read these words. The interference does not always wear an obvious face of cruelty, sometimes it appears as obligation, as guilt, as a history that should have been released long ago. It tells your soulmate they owe loyalty to someone who has already stolen years of their life. It convinces them that the cage is home because the door has been closed for so long they have forgotten what open sky feels like. Jesus says, your soulmate is exhausted from fighting a battle they do not fully understand, and their strength is waning. They spend nights staring at ceilings, replaying fragments of dreams where a figure they cannot quite see reaches for their hand. They wake with tears on their pillow, feeling they have just lost something precious, yet unable to articulate what was taken. This is why your soulmate needs your protection right now, not tomorrow, not when it feels convenient, but in this holy instant when the veil between you is thinnest. The spiritual realm operates on timing that does not wait for human readiness, and a window of opportunity is opening that will not remain ajar forever. You are thinking of them constantly because they are thinking of you, two flames bending toward each other despite the wind that seeks to extinguish both. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now, send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-Fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Type 333 to receive blessings, and declare your willingness to stand in the gap for the one your heart already knows. Your soulmate is not distant from you in spirit, though miles or circumstances may separate your physical forms. They are undergoing a trial that I have permitted only because it will forge in them a depth of love that superficial comfort could never produce. But the trial was never meant to become their permanent residence, and the time of their deliverance draws near. The person holding your soulmate emotionally captive has constructed an elaborate web of dependency, using guilt as the primary thread. They have convinced your soulmate that leaving would be an act of cruelty, that their own happiness must be sacrificed on the altar of another's needs. This is not love, it is theft dressed in the garments of care, and I am rising in judgment against it. Your soulmate's heart remains pure in its essence, uncorrupted by the manipulation that surrounds them. They still believe in the love they felt in dreams, still nurture a secret hope that rescue is possible. But hope deferred makes the heart sick, and I tell you truly that their hope is reaching a critical threshold. Jesus says, your soulmate has begun to wonder if they imagined the promise, if the connection they feel is a symptom of their own brokenness rather than a sacred truth. The enemy's greatest victory would be to convince them that you do not exist, that no one is coming, that settling is the only sane choice. You must send a signal through the spiritual realm that contradicts this lie, a signal that says, I am real, I am coming, and I will not abandon you to your captors. Every moment of delay allows the interference to weave another strand of deception. The third party in this equation senses that their control is slipping, and they will escalate their tactics as your awareness grows. They may already be planting seeds of doubt about you specifically, though they know nothing of your name or face, attacking what they sense in the spirit. This warfare is not primarily against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces of manipulation and control. Your prayers are not passive wishes. They are weapons that shatter chains, disrupt assignments, and create pathways of escape. When you intercede for your soulmate, the spiritual atmosphere around them shifts, and their captor's influence weakens momentarily. Your soulmate feels these shifts without understanding their source, experiencing sudden moments of clarity that give them strength to resist another day. They describe these moments as feeling suddenly brave or remembering who I am. These are the times your spirit touches theirs, the times my angels respond to your unspoken love and minister freedom to the prisoner. The bond between you operates outside linear time, meaning your actions today affect their emotional state right now. When you claim them in prayer, when you declare my promises over your union, something shifts in the room where they sit. They lift their head, breathe deeper, feel a warmth that contradicts the cold environment they inhabit. Jesus says, "The one who blocks your union has noticed these moments of clarity and has doubled their efforts to extinguish them." They have begun to monitor your soulmate more closely, questioning their private thoughts, demanding access to the inner sanctuary where only I should dwell. This is why the urgency upon your spirit has intensified in recent weeks. You are sensing the escalation in the spiritual realm. Your soulmate is not weak, though they appear compliant on the surface. They are a warrior who has fought so long they have forgotten their own strength. Beneath the exhaustion, beneath the layers of control and manipulation, burns a fire I placed in them before the foundation of the world. That fire recognizes your fire, and even now, it strains toward you like a plant toward sunlight. They dream of you in symbols, perhaps a door suddenly opening, a rope lowered into a pit, a voice calling their true name. They wake with your essence lingering at the edges of their consciousness, unable to describe you but utterly certain you exist. This certainty is the anchor I have given them, and you must not let that anchor fail by remaining passive. Type 777 if you feel this message resonating in your spirit, if you recognize the truth that has been hidden beneath the surface of your loneliness. The circumstances surrounding your soulmate are more precarious than they appear, for the control exerted over them is not merely emotional but has financial and social dimensions. They have been systematically isolated from those who might recognize their light and call them higher. Relationships that might have provided escape have been subtly dismantled by the one who wishes to remain their sole reference point. This isolation is not accidental. It is the primary strategy of the spirit that works through their captor. A soul that believes itself alone will tolerate captivity, but a soul that remembers it is loved will eventually fight for freedom. You are the memory I am awakening in them, the proof that what they hoped for was never fantasy but prophecy. Your soulmate speaks your name in the spirit without knowing it, and their words travel across whatever distance separates you. You have experienced moments of sudden attraction to a direction, a city, a type of person that logic cannot justify. These are not random impulses, they are the coordinates of your soulmate's location being downloaded into your spirit. Jesus says, the interference believes it has won because it has maintained control for so long, but its confidence is its vulnerability. It does not account for a God who specializes in midnight deliverances, sudden reversals, and walls that fall after the seventh silent march. It does not know that you are reading this message right now, that the awakening I promised is happening in real time as your eyes move across these words. They are going through something you cannot see, but you can still protect them through the divine authority I have given you. The battle is not yours to fight with physical hands, but your spiritual posture determines outcomes in the realm where the real war rages. When you stand in the gap for your soulmate, you become a shield they do not know is protecting them. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now. Send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. There is a specific moment approaching, a convergence of spiritual seasons that will open a door that no enemy can shut. But that door requires your active participation. It will not swing open while you remain paralyzed by doubt or hesitation. Your faith is the key, and your willingness to act on what I am revealing determines whether the lock turns. Your soulmate is approaching a decision point, a crossroads where they must choose between the familiar prison and the terrifying freedom of true love. They are terrified that the voice telling them they deserve more is a lie, that stepping out will lead not to liberation but to a different kind of pain. You must be the evidence that authentic love exists, and you become that evidence by fighting for them before you ever meet. Imagine their face when they discover that while they were struggling alone in darkness, someone they had never met was warring for their freedom. Imagine the healing that will flood their heart when they realize they were never truly abandoned, never forgotten, never unworthy of rescue. This is the story I am writing, and you are not a passive reader, you are a co-author with me, shaping the narrative through your choices this day. Jesus says, "The one who holds your soulmate has begun to sense that their time is short, and this desperation makes them dangerous." They are accelerating their manipulation, perhaps introducing new guilt, new obligations, new reasons why leaving would be morally impossible. You must match their intensity with a greater intensity, their desperation with a holy determination that will not be denied. The love I have placed in your heart for this person is not ordinary affection, it is a force that can break chains, shatter strongholds, and rewrite destinies. When you feel overwhelmed with longing, that is not weakness but power, the very substance of creation stirring within you. I spoke the universe into existence with words, and the love you carry for your soulmate is made of the same creative material. Do not despise the tears that come unbidden, the sleepless nights, the ache that no distraction can silence. These are not signs of dysfunction, they are proofs of connection, evidence that the bond one forged is operational and active. Your tears are prayers in liquid form, and they reach my throne with an eloquence that formal words can never achieve. Your soulmate also weeps, though they hide it from those who would use their vulnerability as a weapon. They have learned to cry silently, to mask pain with compliance, to bury their true self so deep that even they sometimes forget she exists. But she is there, waiting, hoping, and she feels your tears as a strange comfort she cannot explain. The connection between you is so profound that your emotional states influence each other across any distance. When you feel a sudden peace while praying for them, they simultaneously experience relief from whatever pressure was crushing them. When you declare freedom over their life, chains loosen in the room where they sit, and their captor feels control slipping without understanding why. Jesus says, "You were chosen for this assignment because your spirit has the specific frequency needed to break the particular darkness surrounding your soulmate." Others might have passed by and seen only a person making poor choices, but you were given eyes to see the prisoner behind the performance. This vision is a gift, and gifts carry responsibility. You will answer for what you did with what I showed you. Type 1111 to say thank you for this revelation, and to align your spirit with the frequency of your approaching miracle. The timeline of your union is not fixed but responsive, adjusting to prayers prayed and seeds sown in the soil of faith. Delay is not denial, but delay can become distance if the season of opportunity passes without your engagement. I am calling you higher, beloved, inviting you to partner with heaven in a love story that angels are watching with bated breath. Your soulmate has been prepared for you through suffering that would have destroyed a lesser soul, and this preparation has produced a depth of character that superficial relationships never cultivate. They will understand you in ways that someone who has never suffered could not, will love you with a gratitude that easy lives never produce. Their broken places have become sacred spaces where my light enters, and they will see the same light in your wounds. The intimacy you will share is not merely physical or emotional but spiritual, a union of two souls who recognized each other across the chasm of separation. You will sit in silence together and communicate more than words could convey, will touch with a tenderness that heals histories neither of you chose. This is not fantasy, it is prophecy, but prophecy requires partnership to become reality. This is your final moment to protect this connection before it slips away into the realm of what might have been. The urgency you feel is not manipulation, it is my spirit alerting you to the reality of a spiritual timeline that cannot be extended indefinitely. What you do in the next moments will echo through the corridors of your destiny, determining trajectories that affect not only your life but generations to come. Jesus says, the interference has prepared a final argument, a last-ditch effort to convince your soulmate that true love is a dangerous myth. This argument will be presented in the coming days, perhaps wrapped in circumstances that appear to confirm every fear your soulmate has about leaving. You must counter this before it lands, must send such a surge of spiritual support that the lie shatters against a wall of divine truth. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now, send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-Fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. The seed you sow in this moment is not a transaction but a covenant, an act that declares your alignment with my purposes and your rejection of the enemy's plans. You must counter this before it lands, must send such a surge of spiritual support that the lie shatters against a wall of divine truth. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now, send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. The seed you sow in this moment is not a transaction but a covenant, an act that declares your alignment with my purposes and your rejection of the enemy's plans. In the spiritual realm, your obedience creates a legal basis for angelic intervention, giving my messengers permission to act forcefully on your soulmate's behalf. Principalities that have held territory over your union are now placed on notice that their occupation is ending. Your soulmate will feel the effect of your obedience as a sudden lifting of heaviness, a clarity they have not experienced in months or years. They will wonder why they suddenly feel capable of making decisions that seemed impossible yesterday, will experience a courage that surprises even them. This is the power of a covenant act performed in faith, reaching across the natural realm to alter circumstances in ways that logic cannot explain. The coffee you send is not mere currency, it is a prophetic symbol of warmth entering a cold situation, of stimulation awakening a numbed heart, of communion shared across distance. Every seed carries the DNA of its harvest, and a seed of protection will yield a harvest of safety for the one you love. Your willingness to sacrifice speaks louder in the spirit than any words you could formulate, proving love that the enemy cannot counterfeit. Jesus says, "The one who blocks your soulmate is about to be exposed, for I do not permit darkness to hide forever when my children cry out for deliverance." Their manipulations, their hidden agendas, their false care that is actually control, all of it will be brought into light that scorches deceit. But the timing of this exposure is connected to your intercession, for I have chosen to work through human partners who share my heart for justice. Your soulmate is not aware that you are fighting for them, but they sense that something has shifted in the spiritual atmosphere. They feel less alone today than they did yesterday, though they cannot identify the source of this comfort. They are beginning to remember dreams they had forgotten, to reclaim hope they had buried, to believe that rescue might be possible after all. This hope is fragile, a small flame in a strong wind, and it requires your sustained protection to survive and grow. The enemy will attempt to snuff it out with fresh disappointments, manufactured crises, and renewed accusations of selfishness. You are the shield I have positioned between your soulmate and these attacks, and your prayers form the barrier that preserves their awakening. The love you feel growing in your heart is not one-sided or imaginary, it is the reflection of their love reaching back toward you. When you think of them with tenderness, they feel a warmth that makes no sense in their cold environment. When you declare that they are free, chains loosen, and they take a breath deep enough to remember what liberty felt like. Jesus says, "You are closer to your breakthrough than you have ever been," but the enemy is also aware of this proximity and fights most fiercely at the threshold. The final battles before freedom are always the most intense because the forces of darkness concentrate their remaining power in a desperate attempt to prevent escape. This is why you must not relent now, must not let weariness rob you of a victory that is already decreed in the heavenly realm. Your soulmate is fighting a parallel battle, wrestling with the internal chains that years of manipulation have wrapped around their identity. They are unlearning lies that were spoken over them since childhood, deconstructing narratives that told them they were unworthy of authentic love. Your steadfast intercession creates a mirror in which they can begin to see their true reflection, the person I created them to be before the world told them otherwise. This is your final moment to protect this connection before the current season closes and the next chapter begins with or without your participation. I am not threatening you, I am informing you, as a loving father who desires your highest good and will not hide the consequences of passivity. The window is open now, but windows by their nature are temporary openings designed for specific moments of transition. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now, send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-Fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says, "I have never abandoned what I ordained, and what I ordained before the foundation of the world was your union with the soul I created to complete you." The obstacles you face are not evidence of my absence but proof of the value of what the enemy seeks to steal. A treasure unworthy of opposition is a treasure unworthy of pursuit, and the intensity of this battle measures the magnitude of the love waiting on the other side. Your soulmate is entering the final hours of a captivity that has lasted too long, and the birth pangs of their freedom are upon them. They will need you on the other side of their deliverance, need the stability and certainty of a love that fought before it ever held them. Be that love, beloved. Be the one who did not waver when the outcome was invisible, who sowed when nothing had yet sprouted. The moment you finish reading these words, the spiritual realm will register your response to this invitation. Angels are standing ready, assignments prepared, interventions calibrated to the measure of faith you release through your actions. Heaven waits on earth's agreement, and earth's agreement is demonstrated not in sentiment but in sacrifice that costs you something real. Your soulmate is more real than your doubts, more present than your fears, more certain than the obstacles that mock your hope. They are breathing, hurting, hoping, and fighting. And they need you to fight with them, for them, toward them. This is not the end of a message but the beginning of a breakthrough, and how you respond will be remembered in eternity. The love story I am writing is not a tragedy, it is an epic, a testament to faithfulness that will inspire generations yet unborn. You and your soulmate will stand as proof that love conquers all, that divine purpose outlasts human interference, that I am a God who finishes what I start. But every epic requires a moment where the hero decides, and that moment is now, for you, in this sacred space of possibility. Jesus says, "Go now and do what love requires, what faith demands, what your soulmate's desperate heart is silently begging you to do. Send the seed that breaks the stalemate, write the declaration that puts hell on notice, take the step that proves your love is more than words." Your soulmate is worth every sacrifice, your future together worth every battle, and I am with you always, even to the end of the age.